This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We're here on the PlayStation 5, specifically the PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. The sky is calling as we play one of the most incredible games ever created. This is a pure simulation of the entire world. Anywhere you want to go, anywhere you want to see, you can do it. Flying, or walking around on foot. The third person's an experimental setting you have to turn on, by the way. But it's all here, all available, any time of day, any specific region of time, any year, any weathering, any setup, any cloud formation. You can set up and you can simulate and you can enjoy in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So this was one of the big showcases of what really these current gen consoles could do at the time when we got the port of Flight Sim 2020 to Series X. It was sort of mind-blowing. And, as part of the Xbox We Gave Up initiative, it's really exciting to see this available here on PlayStation, because this is truly one of the greatest games ever made, just in terms of simulation. Like, there really is nothing else out there at the scale of this game. Now, when this game launched, there was kind of like problems. There were a lot of problems, and after a year, they have smoothed out a lot of things, and they have improved a lot of stuff. But you got to remember, this is still largely running off of the cloud. So, yeah, and hopefully I don't mess up my takeoff here. I want this to look somewhat smooth for people. Keep in mind, I'm using a controller. But yeah, this game really is quite wondrous. And it's not perfect in every way, but you literally can fly across the entire world. And the level of visual fidelity has been increased a lot, and the quality of the experience has been increased a lot, and it's just quite amazing because it's literally the entire world for you to see. So for this flight, we're flying over Calgary, which is where I live, and we're flying around the time where I bought my first home. Actually, I think it's maybe the same day or around then. And I thought this was just kind of like the perfect spot to sort of showcase this and talk about it, because I know the city so well. And just to give you context as to the quality of the experience that we're getting here. So in the past with Flight Sim 2020, you would periodically get these world updates. And these world updates, what they would do is they would kind of change parts of the world. Fine, we'll go up higher. It's giving me all these tips. It's trying to tell me how to do things. And it's you gotta just let me fly. No, it really is quite interesting. You get these world updates. So this is where you're going to see, a stark contrast, where it's, places that have actually been photoed. You can see the level of detail, it looks proper, the environment looks proper. But when you go out to the backdrop there, it's just kind of a green. That's because they just kind of generated it. Or, used maps and everything. But some parts of the world actually have this. And what's cool about this version of the game is that it's just constantly getting, updated. And since it's all cloud-based, not the clouds you see out there, but the Microsoft Cloud, super reliable. It's places just get updated in the game, and it just keeps your install size really small, which is great. Because the other one was huge, but the install size for this one's kind of small. But that creates these server problems and connectivity problems and stuff, and that in itself is really rather annoying. And it's gotten better, but it's still. Yeah, it's still not quite at the smoothness that we got with the 2020 version of Flight Sim. So you just kind of get 2024 on PlayStation, which is it's great, but it's also a bit of a shame that you don't get both versions, if that makes sense, because I think that would be really great. So from a technical standpoint here, they're not really fully taking advantage of the Pro, which is a little disappointing. And as you can tell, it's so hard to tell sometimes in this game if it's technical problems from data or the cloud or streaming, or if it's just the game. But what you're supposed to be getting, though, is it's a 4K resolution. Internally it's lower, On the PlayStation, it does seem to be hitting a little bit higher because like the internal for Series X was like around 1400-ish p or so, and it does seemingly give you a little bit more resolution, and it targets 30 FPS. Now, if you have VRR, it's supposed to give you an uncapped frame rate up to 120 FPS. There are obviously some stutters and stuff that I'm noticing while playing, and the performance is like it's not like a locked 120, obviously, and like it's definitely quite a bit lower, but it's supposed to fluctuate quite aggressively, and it's one of the more unique games in the sense that it does give you that uncapped option, which I think is really cool. But you got to make sure that VRR is kind of being enforced and running and everything, and yeah, that's just kind of what you're getting here. But that is the general goal here. Is it's like a 4K 30 FPS target, and this game is really quite majestic and beautiful. Like, you literally get to fly anywhere. It's amazing. And it's got all the bells and whistles, and there's different like peripherals and things that you can plug in and control, and it's got all these different settings. I wonder if we could just pause this briefly to kind of go over that. So yeah, this is where the advanced option was, to allow third person, in case you're wondering. That may be baked into the game in the future when you're watching this. There's HDR support. And there's all these different like settings that you can adjust. The game is just filled with endless settings. And then all this different dialogue and stuff, and it really is quite amazing, the things you can do, and the weathering and the adjustments. And then there's all these assists. I'm playing with the more advanced setting, but there is like sort of a, I guess you would say, more like assisted setting you can use. And again, that flickering, so yeah, VR is definitely kicking in. And then there's lots of accessibility options. Like, the game is just like chock full of stuff. But control-wise, there's lots of different sort of control options you can do, and fine-tuning, and it's just like, it's really quite impressive. I actually have the Turtle Beach sort of flight sim system, and I've had companies offer me like more complex flight sim things to cover too, but like, I just don't know if I'm that good enough to do that kind of stuff, as odd as that sounds, just because it is like, it is a very technical thing. And I'm hoping that with the PlayStation release of this, I can finally go in and I can do sort of like, I've always wanted to do tours. So I used to do tours of the world in Flight Sim 2020, go and take a look at place and talk about different locations around the world. But yeah, the launch of this game was so bad on Xbox. It was really depressing, because I loved this game. Like, the 2020 version for me is a 10 out of 10. And this one too, if they could just like a little bit less reliance on the cloud, a little bit more local. I mean, this is way better. Like, honestly, it's in a way better state. But just, I don't know, I just want it running smooth and being all exciting and everything like it was. And we're not even going on like a fast plane or something. This is my tour plane. So I use this as like a, oh, I'm showing you the world kind of a thing, because I think it's a pretty satisfying sort of speed that lets you see the world and really take in the details of the environment quite well. That's why I kind of use this plane. So, just be aware of, like, that's why I'm flying at this speed and why I'm doing this. There's the Calgary Tower in the downtown. And, yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing this particular plane. But there's way faster planes in this game. Like, hugely faster planes. And the zoo is... Oh, where's the zoo? Did we pass it? That's Princess Island. This should be over that. Anyways, yeah, this is the Stampede. I think it literally... No, the Stampede's not set up at this... Yeah, well, July would be the Stampede. Yeah, but this is like the Stampede grounds. And there's a Saldo that's going to be destroyed in the future as they build something new. But you can also tell, like, when data was done, like, the shots of the world was done, because, like, you could see what neighborhoods and stuff were kind of missing, which was always funny. And, obviously, we can't get an exact, like, always up-to-date technology for the world at this point. I'm sure someday you will literally be able to fly and see things live in action in that, and we're working towards that. But, like, for a flight sim that's like this, it is so insanely impressive. Because there's all these different, like, vehicles, and then there's this wealth of, like, a marketplace of, like, limitless planes and crafts and things you can get. And then there's different versions of the game, too, that gives you different, like, handcrafted airports and everything like that. It's really, really quite amazing, and I really genuinely do love this game. I think it is like one of the most amazing experiences you can have in your life is seeing the world from this perspective, and it just makes it accessible for everyone to literally fly everywhere. It's like it's fun and entertaining to fly over your house. This is the Glenmore Reservoir, and the Heritage Park is over there in the middle. I did some IRL streaming there, uh, but like it's just so interesting that you can literally haha fly over my house, but you can go anywhere. You can see the pyramids. You can go across Europe. You can go anywhere you want. Visit Area 51, I guess. You could see Disneyland. You can, but it's just the perspective of being able to go anywhere, see anything, and get this vantage point that very, very few people get to like witness, if that makes sense. And it's the freedom of flight. You could choose the clouds or have storms or drive through crazy weather conditions. This is the Weasel Flats. I did a stream here too, like a couple of years ago, a year or so back. And they're building houses over there in this flat area, which is a bit of a shame because it was like a natural left spot for like, I don't know, 100 years, something like that. Anyways, yeah. You know, you can't actually like build down in this area. It's left as a nature spot because there's undetonated explosives. They use it as like an artillery testing place. Kind of fascinating. Anyways, oh, and there's the nude beaches down there too, which is kind of funny. This is Stony Trail, and that would take you to Griffith Woods over there. I've turned into showcasing the area mode. But this was what I was talking about earlier, where there is a divide between stuff that's actually been photographed and stuff that hasn't been. You think they'd photograph a little bit more outside of this area, because this was part of the Canadian World Update, was they actually got proper scans of most of the proper Canadian cities. I think they ignored Edmonton, which was kind of funny. But yeah, you can see like the level of detail. And then of course, everything in the world is simulated too. So again, there's tons of crafts, but there's live conditions, so you can have like live flights. One of my pals, I got into this game. He would creepily, I want to throw that out there, by the way, calling you out there, Mitchell. Anyways, he would, because his gal is like a flight person, and that's a terrible way to. Anyways, you get what I mean. And he could like be on the flight that she was on live while it was happening, if that makes any sense. But you would be simulating the game, but it would be like the live flight, and they have all that, and they simulate traffic, and there's multiplayer where other people can, like, you know, you can see other people in the world doing the flying stuff. And I'm hoping this makes sense, because it's just like I'm trying to get across the complexity of it. There's the Buffalo Run Costco. Pretty cool. Yeah, you can see the Costco sign there. And there's over here in this green area, this is Fish Creek and the Bebo and everything. Shannon Terrace is right down there. I've done a stream here too before, and I love going for walks in this area. It's a long, long walk. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours if you go all the way around. You go up the thing and go up the hill, and it doesn't really show the density or like the scale too well. Well, it kind of does, but it's like in real life, it's quite a climb to get up here. But yeah, and then over there is where the alpaca photos are done. It's just like, it's really, really quite amazing, this game. It is one of the most perfect experiences you could ever witness in your life, is going around and just flying like this. See, like, this stuff doesn't look like it's finished from the picture standpoint, because this is all completed at this point, which is interesting. Yeah, so other things. I just do free flights. I've played around with the other settings, and I know lots of other people like to play with the other settings and do other things. But I like to just be like, alright, I'm going to Egypt today, or I'm going to Africa, or I'm going to Antarctica. I just pick it, I select the time of day, I select the weather, or I do live weather, I don't know, or night, or whatever, or snow, and I just go when I do it. This is Spruce Meadows. This is where the horses go and play, and this is where we watch football, you know, soccer. Matches out of that area over there, which is kind of cool. But it's funny, like, a lot of these communities are actually like all filled in now, which is really hilarious. They're actually just finishing off this neighborhood here, by the way. It's changed a lot. The city keeps growing crazily. We're massive. Like, we're one of the, I think we're actually the biggest municipality in Canada in terms of scale because we're one city and the other larger cities are like a combination of cities that make them up. They have all these like little districts, but we're one big actual cohesive city, which is fascinating. Like it's huge. That's also a good point why it's great to fly here. Density. You get to see all the houses and all the buildings and all the malls and all the traffic. And you can get out at any point and walk around. I showed that at the beginning of the game, but I could literally land here and I could get out and I could go for a jog through the neighborhood if I wanted to. Yep, you can literally go anywhere. Oh, so this is a lake community too. Interesting. And there's, yeah, I know that's a lake community. I didn't know they had a lake. Interesting. See, you know, you fly around, and that's Sukhumi Lake. That's for the regular casuals. Yeah, I've done a stream over there, going down and walking around that spot. This is all part of Fish Creek. It's like a 25-kilometer long trek. But anyways, the game has other stuff too. So the game literally has like these different modes. So you go out and you try to capture like animals. So they got these animals from, I think it's a Planet Zoo. But yeah, they got all these animals that they put in the game. So you can run around and it's like a mode. Well, there's animals in general in this game that you can come across. But like, you can literally, like there's a mode where you're supposed to go and like take pictures of them. And there's modes with different types of planes and craft that you can use in order to like deliver cargo or do missions or do stories or do campaign levels. Like there's all this really, really cool stuff you can do in this game that's really, really quite exciting. All these different like activities and story quests and things. It's really, really, truly quite exciting that there's so much to do and so much to see in this game, and you could just limitlessly do this. Like this is the type of game that I think has like limitless replay value. You could sit here endlessly flying around and seeing things and doing stuff and visiting neighborhoods or visiting your house or visiting some place you used to live or seeing something. Oh, these houses are almost all filled up too. That's interesting. Because you try to gather a date of when they did all this stuff. Well, I mean, that would have been during the Canada World Update, but you can kind of see when things were done. Whoa, that kind of caused a little bit of a drop there. Anyways, yeah, no, there's like a full campaign stuff, there's all these extra activities, there's all these challenges, there's all these other things, and you can do all that stuff. But I don't care. I'm just here to fly. I'm just here to take it in and enjoy the world. Oh, and there's like a whole neighborhood over there that they don't even have built into this. That's interesting. City's growing like crazy. But yeah, it's the whole world at your fingertips. And you can fly endlessly. Like there's settings, I think I have a fixed amount of fuel with this craft that I've set up. But there's settings where you can just turn off like fuel consumption and that, and you can just go anywhere for as long as you want, and you could fly. Like I could sit here and I could fly if I had the time and the determination. I could start from downtown and I could fly over there and I could fly across the entire world and come back here. It would take a long time. You'd probably want a faster jet. Like, well, I mean a jet. You definitely want a jet to do that, because this would take forever in this plane. Like I said, it's a tour plane. But you could literally do anything. Go anywhere, at any time, in any setting, in any scenario, and just fly. And it's all available to you at any sort of, like, height or sort of low. And it's just literally everywhere in the world at your fingertips in a video game. I don't think this game really gets enough credit from people in general, just for the amount of ingenuity this is. Like, there's been flight sims over the years, and there will be flight sims in the future. I'm sure we'll be talking about this. I think the plan's every, like, 3 to 4 years they're supposed to get out a new one. So I think, like, 27 or 28 we should have another one. This is 2020, but that came out the year prior, and then there's 2024, and that came out the year... Well, that actually did come out that year, but... Did Flight Sim 2020? I'm trying to think back, because I had the PC version. Anyways, I digress. We should be getting a new one, and the technology continues to leap and jump and change, and the goal is always a more simulated, realistic world. And it's literally the entire world. I keep saying that, but, like, It's everywhere, anywhere you want to go, to do anything. And it's so cool that this exists and allows you to do this kind of a thing. It's amazing.